He makes her bid for a little piece of history.
Hello and welcome to the first run of the race for 2020 Perth Cup Day. Mark, what phenomenal figures came out of this meeting?
I've been looking forward to talking about this with you for about 10 days now. The figures dropped on the Sunday night after the Perth Cup, and both fast and slow, the Perth Cup was a big talking point, but there was 3 or 4 performances on Perth Cup Day outside of the big race that were absolutely outstanding.
We'll get to them a little later in the program, but for now, let's start with the 2-year-old race and let's take a look at this victory of Gemma's Son.
Silk being followed by 3/4 of a length away. Chick Flicks, a length and a half behind those come Magic, and back towards the inside is All Day Session. Janora steadied them up in front, going past the 450 and approaching the home corner. 3/4 of a length in front of the newcomer Gemma's Son. American Choice down on the inside, camped and ready to go. Just handy outside of it. Sunny Silk back in traffic. Further back in the field being followed then by Come Magic. At the 200, Gemma's Son had headed Janora though. It's Gemma's Son which has race to the lead over Janora. A length away American Choice just handy running on, but Gemma's Son coming right away the newcomer and ran right up to its imposing trial.
Gemma's Son, just a $20,000 purchase, and thanks to West Speed Platinum already has pocketed over $80,000 in prize money for connections. David Harrison had 2 in the race, and he indicated that this was the one that he thought was the better of the 2.
Yeah, I think a few people, myself included, were a little bit concerned about the trial. Won by 10 lengths but didn't beat much, but certainly came out and did the job on race day, and I think he's the follow horse out of this race. Fastest sectionals, including the fastest last 2 splits, was the best backed of Harrow's horses, and I think they're thinking of Magic Millions now with that horse. Forgetting Chick Flick, his second poor performance in a row, plus 14.5 on debut and not much better second up. And I think I will forgive American Choice here. It did spend a very long time in the barriers due to the kerfuffle at the start involving Big Fish and All Day Session, so forgive that horse.
All right, we are watching that 2-year-old racing with interest at the moment, given that the Magic Millions isn't far away at all. All right, the next race, this is a horse on the up and another trainer that has identified that he's pretty good. Let's have a look at Indian Pacific.
With drama-free Ginger, it settled down second last, and a length and a half away is away we go. At the 550, they've left the riverside of the track. Indian Pacific, the hot pot, found the fence and led when they'd settled down. The Southwest filly, We've Got Dreams, up running second. A length and a half to Fame City. Guestine in the orange silks between horses. High Rangers covered ground outside of it. End of an era headed the remainder. Indian Pacific livened up by Brad Parnham at the 200, shot away from We've Got Dreams. Ginger from second last is starting to run on well down the outside with less than 100 to go. It's all Indian Pacific in no danger, and the raging favourite goes down and cruises in. Indian Pacific by nearly 3 to...
Indian Pacific wins again, and look at that figure, minus 6.6. To do that in the infancy of a career, it's a big number.
$1.80 into $1.60, should have gone around $1.01 in hindsight, because this was immoral. Minus 4.3 on debut, minus 6.6 second up, led from what was the second widest gate. He's clearly the follow horse, and putting my Perth racing hat on, I hope this horse doesn't go interstate too soon, because he's clearly got the ability to win grade races over there. Forgetting Fame City, blinkers in this race didn't spark any improvement, and the personal best of 5.5 plus is not good enough, and you're going to have to forgive Genya here. Fastest sectionals, fastest last 2 splits, simply ran into a horse that is going places.
And it was certainly flashing home, so we're watching that horse with interest going forward. All right, the next race, well, Neville Parnham was on a roll. He's over there.
150 left to travel. Butley Lad took a really good breather in the middle part. On his outside, eyeballing though, Heart Starter. Black Shadow, no favours, 3 deep. Really hasn't had the rub of the green at all in running. Star Values down on the inside, fourth, being followed by Defiantly. Over there, popping out 4 deep, 5 wide Avidus and 6 wide Mega Zone as they'd fanned. Butley Lad led into the straight, kicked a length, Heart Starter. Over there, quickening down the outside. Star Value back inside of them, searching for a clear run, and here comes Mega Zone and over there, race up, they've gone to the lead together. Over there, Mega Zone, over there in front, Mega Zone won't get to over there and goes home to win it over there. So the Parnham brothers.
Over there wins over a mile, recording an overall figure of minus 2.4. There was a pretty nice tempo up front, nearly 4 lengths better than average the leader was going.
Definite horse there with Over There, but I've heard Scott Embry mention this horse several times. Doesn't really want to be a racehorse, it seems. When it all gets together and produces a figure like that, you go, oh, back in next start. But she doesn't make the file, forgive, forget, or follow. Following star value out of this race was a good finish over the 1200 first up, then was somewhat unlucky over the 1600, I think worth persevering with. And I will forgive that horse for its run in this race. Was held up in the straight. Both runs back have been pretty good. I think you've got to forget Heart Starter. I thought he had an opportunity here down in grade to win on Perth Cup days. Last win was back in the Cerise and White in the 2016 Asian Bow Stakes. Looking at his sectionals and stuff, he's often been ridden on the speed recently, and maybe they have to go back to ride him take a sit, because when he's been on the speed, he's just been a sitting duck.
And it's been a long, long time, as you mentioned, between drinks for him too. So hopefully they can recapture a little bit of his best form that we saw years ago. All right, let's take a look at the next race. This was an event for the stayers, and Mackenzie Brook thinks she likes the trip.
Near the 600, High Energy still shading Elementaria, who'll start to look for an out shortly. Push to pass about to be called upon. Mackenzie Brook not getting a lot of room inside of it. Stafford's Lad. This favourite's back. Stone Motherless Last. Sentimental Gift coming around the turn, and with a mountain to climb. 350 to go. Proxy straightened up in front. Kick 2 clear. High Energy, Freedom by Choice. The Black Watch towards the inside. Cutting the corner, Stafford's Lad. Then Mackenzie Brook. Further back, Sentimental Gift running on with Elementaria. Stafford's Lad shot up on the inside. Elementaria. Mackenzie Brook go to it though. And Sentimental Gift charging. Mackenzie Brook. Sentimental Gift. Mackenzie Brook. Mackenzie Brook is...
Mackenzie Brook wins with an overall figure of -1.3. Mark, I think what we're seeing at the moment is every sort of fortnight, it's the same group of stayers going around, and they tend to take their turns.
And they're tending to go towards those country cups that we'll see in February and March. A lot of these will go around on Saturday in another staying contest at Ascot Racecourse. Look, I'm going to forgive Push to Pass out at this race. He came back with some lacerations and also was lame in one of its legs, so forgiving Push to Pass. Forgetting Sentimental Gift here. Fastest sectionals, new personal best of -1.2, but now when you've got a Cerise and White galloper that's got a PB of -1.2, goes around at short odds, I think you've probably got to oppose that horse. And look, I don't want to follow anything out of this race. I thought it was absolutely horrible contest, but I will forgive Push to Pass, so I might follow him next time.
All right. Well, the next race, this was one that I think may have shocked a few, the result, because I never thought we would see Driftstar, a 1400 metre winner. Let's take a look.
Rock and Ruler, 3/4 of a length in front. San Crispino running second, and 3 wide around them. Stevie's Wonder. They're being followed by Rosebush down on the inside next, ahead of Driftstar. Correspondent is wider out, 3 deep. He's a gunslinger, travelling well, but in need of an opening and to get clear and get going. On the rails, Family Discussion, followed further back. Make Mine Champers, an Inspirational Girl at the 250, and San Crispino levelled up and it hit the front. Got to the lead from Rock and Ruler. Rosebush getting through with Driftstar down the outside. San Crispino, Little Rosebush, Driftstar, his Inspirational Girl charging at the rate of knots, finishing brilliantly. Driftstar's in front. Driftstar.
Well, Driftstar, he'd earned a little bit of a reputation as being a horse that could fire at trials and then failed first up, but what do the numbers tell us out of this performance on Saturday?
It tells you it wasn't a true 1400 metre race, so if people out there getting excited about Driftstar being a 7 furlong horse, I'd say hold your horses somewhat here. Doesn't make the file. I'm not willing to follow him. I'm not willing to sack him. I'm willing to follow Inspirational Girl here. Fastest sectionals, fastest last 2 splits, was simply beaten by the barrier. Another horse that had no chance from the gate was No Apology. Settled second last from the wide barrier. Second fastest sectionals, no chance whatsoever. And I'm going to forget Inflation here. A lot of people would have forgiven this horse, but this horse has now done this more than once at the gates. Always is well supported, but shifted out 4 starts ago and missed the start on Saturday.
That's a look at the first 5 races. We'll take a quick break, and on the other side, we promise some big figures. They're coming up right after this.
Better your betting experience with Tab Touch. Watch Sky Racing and race replays on the go. Get free Giddy Up premium form. Access your winnings faster with past the post payouts. And keep your winnings if there's a protest. Better your betting experience with Tab Touch. You know the score. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
Welcome back to the run of the race, where it is time to start looking at some of the big figure performances from Perth Cup Day. And we start with the Latrice Classic. We knew Snow Chino would be out and rolling in front, but I'm not sure anyone could anticipate what sort of figures would come out of the early speed of this 1800 metre race. In the end, it set it up perfectly for Perfect Jewel.
Strata on the fence, Perfect Jewel, a length Aconite being heeled along by Turner. On the rails, Iart, and Whiting takes off with Like a Butterfly, but Snow Chino's established a break, and he's got a rolling coming to the 450. It's Snow Chino leading by 2, Friars Fantasia. Royal Strata sets after the leader. In behind them then Perfect Jewel coming away from the fence by Pike. He's biding his time. He's in 2 minds to go to the inner, the outer. She's not going well enough, I don't think, although she's starting to pick up now. Aconite is further back Like a Butterfly. Now Pike goes to work. Perfect Jewel ranges up to Royal Strata, grabs the lead. Aconite runs on. Pike back on board. This is the formula. Comes away Perfect Jewel back into the...
Perfect Jewel wins the Latrice courtesy of a hot speed, and that's what I want to draw your attention to, that early 600 figure for the leader. Snow Chino was going 18.5 lengths quicker than benchmark. It is a serious tempo. In the time we've been doing this show, I can't recall a horse going that quick. Even we spoke about the Beaucount pace. This is even quicker than that.
Yeah, it's about a length quicker than Beaucount's ever gone. Certainly while we've been doing this show. That's 14 lengths quicker than Snow Chino led in the Starstruck Classic. So if you're looking for an excuse for her performance, there it is. They went way, way too fast. So I'm forgiving Snow Chino here. I'm forgetting Royal Strata. They got the black type they were looking for at big odds. That was the aim of entering this race, and a number of them during the carnival finished second here. It really was the battle of the fittest. And I'm kicking myself about Perfect Jewel. I had her as a follow, then she finished last, then I sacked her, then she wins this, posting a figure of minus 11.4. I think you're right though. I think she needs William Pike, she needs tempo, and she needs to be in a good mood.
And she got those things on that Saturday, because we know she can reef and tear. If that tempo isn't on, she just gets a little bit keen in running, and it set it up perfectly for her in the Latrice. Let's take a look at the next race now, Fabergino. We couldn't wait to see this horse back at the races. We know she has this incredible high cruising speed, but it's what she actually did at the end of the race this time that was most impressive. Let's take a look at Fabergino winning the Summer Scorcher.
Immediately drops out to the back of the field. At the 600, Fabergino looking for a little more rain against Nucky, led the way. It's a length and a half clear of Belter as they come to the corner, so it's a cloak of grey at the 400. Then 2 lengths behind them, Saracino and Essential Spice urged along. Rebel King dropped off them. Undisclosed back on the inside, but now Nucky works her through her gears, and Fabergino shot away by 4 lengths to Belter and Essential Spice. He had a sustained look over the right shoulder on the Liverpool Grey. She's well clear past the 100. It's Fabergino racing away with a Summer Scorcher. Another dynamic victory. She won it by 3.5.
What a performance by Fabergino. It was worth the wait in the end. Tiana Robertson identified that she is absolutely best fresh. We know that now. Best over 1,000 metres, and she showed that on the Saturday, recording an overall figure of minus 13.3. That's Group 1 sort of figures.
Certainly is. That's better than any figure that was run on a Perth racing track in 2019. It's a new personal best for Fabergino by 4.4. Yet another brilliant fresh run. As you mentioned off the top as well, she did it late as well as she did it early. We'll come back to her in a minute. Forgetting Rebel King, unplaced last 4 starts, seen much better days as an 8-year-old, and forgiving Essential Spice, who'll go around on Saturday, was only just off her personal best, and the personal best was over 1,200 rather than the 1,000. But just on Fabergino, needs to go east. Now I'm going to take my Perth racing hat off here. I don't think she can win the winter bottom. There's no point of going around because it's just too far for her. But if they targeted the Moir Stakes at Moonee Valley in September, I think she'd take an absolute stack of beating. The rating that she ran on Saturday, or 2 Saturdays ago, was superior to what Nature Strip did when he won the Moir Stakes, was probably on a par with what Vidori did 2 years ago. And there's only 2 Group 1s in the whole of Australia over 1,000 metres. One's down the straight, one's round Moonee Valley. Moonee Valley, September, go there and win it.
Well, it's pretty exciting. If they can get her over there, I know that she has been a mare that they've had to be cautious with because she's needed the maturity and able to travel. But hopefully if she's taken those steps in the maturity and they can get her over there, she can show them what she's made of, because she is high, high class. All right, the next race was the feature on the day, the Perth Cup, and what a performance this is by Mississippi Delta. I'm still scratching my head thinking, how did she win this?
In the field on the outside of Friar Fox and Prize Catch, and Mississippi Delta got relegated to last. Coming to the 550, Taxagano plays the game, stride for stride in the cup. British Bessie ridden along third. Behind them, Royal Command, Prince Turbo going okay. Missile Launch followed then by Arctic Stream, Dark Musket, Spiritual Warrior, Star Exhibit. Pike to the outside with Mississippi Delta. Taxagano, the roughie, plays the game, comes again. Missile Launch is coming down the outside. inside. Mississippi Delta from well back, storming home. Prince Turbo Royal Command. Missile launch. Look at Mississippi Delta. Mississippi Delta over the top. Grab the lead from last.
What an incredible run home. Time to perfection by Mississippi Delta and William Pike to take out the 2020 Perth Cup.
We'll come back to her because she's worth talking about. We'll forgive Star Exhibit here. Tried to make the same run as the winner, but simply had more weight, 5 kilos more. I think Star Exhibit, probably with a better run in the race, probably finishes second. Forgetting Prize Catch for the third or fourth time this carnival. Finished last, latest poor run in what has been a very disappointing campaign. And now let's talk about the winner. Fastest sectionals. I know it was a pretty ordinary cup, but she had the fastest last 200 of the entire meeting at the end of a 2,400 metre race. That is phenomenal.
That really is, and it probably goes to show just how moderate the tempo was early to be able to run that sort of time home at the end of a staying journey. All right, there's one more race still to come on the day, and this one, the horse had to do it a little bit tough, but Speeding Comet managed to prevail.
Last of all, it's been a bit muddlingly run at the 600 metre mark, and Metallic Bell crossed to the rails and led a half a length over the Naconian. Then Darty working around them, 3 wide, 4 deep. Speeding Comet coming into the race. Guns of Navarone down on the inside of Pablo's Poem. Plutocracy, Skin and Tins right off the track. Pike's going to need luck with Festival Miss, searching for Needle Eye opening down on the inside. There's not a lot of room. The Naconian had reached the lead. Back on the inside, battling away Metallic Bell. Here's Speeding Comet down the outside with Plutocracy and Skin and Tins with 100 left to go. Speeding Comet had reached the lead. Plutocracy gunning it down. Darty near the rails. Speeding Comet and Plutocracy. Speeding Comet. Speeding Comet.
Speeding Comet wins, recording an overall figure of -2.5 and giving the Simon Miller stable the Quinella.
Certainly did. Plutocracy was the other horse from that yard and makes the foal both as the forgive and the follow. Forgive him because he pulled really hard in the race, got his head in the air several times, came home with the fastest sectionals nonetheless. I think he's too talented not to win another race in the near future. So he's the follow horse, although he is entered on Saturday, and I don't have him anywhere near top in the Miss Andretti Stakes. Forgetting, there's a few of them here, I'm forgetting Devilatio once again. He's never really been one of mine. He was pretty plain from what was the outside gate.
All right, let's take a look at the meeting in its totality. And off the top of the program, we said just how great the figures were to come out of this meeting. Who was the best performer?
Well, the horse that doesn't make the file that deserves to is Indian Pacific, because this is a serious horse going places, neither the class nor the overall. So the class was perfect duel, set up by that incredible tempo that was 3 seconds faster to the 600 metres than it should have been, or certainly the average anyway. Fastest overall rating, Fabigino by a mile, -13.3. That's over a length better than anybody did last year. She's a superstar. And I said on Thoroughbred Central, after she won one of her races here when Gareth was still here, that I thought she had the potential to be like WA's Black Caviar. And she made me look silly for a couple of months, but I think she's back.
Well, she's coming good for you now. Now, you mentioned Mississippi Delta having that fastest 200 metres of the meeting, which is quite remarkable. Who are our other best closing sectionals?
Well, just the one horse. It's Profit Street, who'll go around in the Miss Andretti Stakes on Saturday. Fastest last 4 and the 600. So he goes up to the 1,100 metres. He probably wants 1,200, but he's certainly a chance.
Well, he keeps coming up in those closing sectionals, so he's always finishing off the race strong, now in the care of Lindsay Smith, of course. All right, we'll take a quick break, and on the other side, we'll have a look at the tipping competition.
Better your betting experience with Tab Touch. Watch Sky Racing and race replays on the go. Get free Giddy Up premium form. Access your winnings faster with past the post payouts. And keep your winnings if there's a protest. Better your betting experience with Tab Touch. You know the score. Stay in control. Gamble responsibly.
Welcome back to the run of the race, where it is time to have a look at the tipping competition, and it was the final round of the tipping competition as well, so we do have a winner in just a moment. But first of all, let's take a look at what the best possible way home was, because this was a massive score that you could have got.
Yeah, if you're trying to chase and get into the top 3 positions, you had your opportunity on Perth Cup Day. Nearly 4,000 points up for grabs, and look at that final race. Speeding Comet for Chloe Azzopardi, $37 and $7.70. So if you had your big bet on that horse and you had been in the frame, you'd have been shooting up the leaderboard.
Oh, you absolutely wouldn't. And not just Speeding Comet either. Driftstar nearly $20, Mackenzie Brook $13.40. So plenty of money to be made What did our weekly winner manage to find?
Dodger 06, that's Brian Hunter. He found Speed in Comet. He also found Perfect Duel and Over There for a score of 2,581 points. Came from absolutely nowhere to win the final round of the competition. Didn't finish anywhere on the overall leaderboard. 132nd for Brian, but he takes home a prize.
Well, that is good for him. That is the beauty of the weekly prizes, meaning you can jump in and play at any stage. But this leaderboard, it has been hotly contested over the last few weeks. There hasn't been much between the top few on the leaderboard. Who ended up with the winning prize here?
Glenn O'Donnell went into the final day as the leader. He led after the first 2 races. Then Russell Hinks hit the front. And then Natasha Plunkett went to the front after race 4. And then when Fabigino won race 7, Russell went back to the front and he stayed there for the rest of the day. So he wins the overall prize of $1,000 and a $250 voucher from Crown Perth. Glenn O'Donnell second, Natasha Plunkett third. And we will point out that both Glenn and Natasha missed tips during the competition. Glenn missed 4 and Natasha missed 9. I'll say no more.
They will be kicking themselves because had those tips gone in, I have a feeling that one of those people would have been victorious. But taking nothing away from Russell, congratulations to you. And if you haven't been a part of the tipping competition, never fear because it all gets underway again this Saturday. So participants can sign up again and get ready to do it all again.
Yeah, competitions PR Tipstar 2020, Ascot, summer and autumn. There'll be another competition at Belmont when we get there in the winter, but I think there's 18 rounds. It's every Saturday that we race here at Ascot, excluding obviously the weekend where Pinjarra hosts the Magic Millions race day, and also Good Friday as well because it's a feature race day.
I cannot wait to see how this round goes. And they get their first opportunity to gain some points this weekend on Miss Andretti Stakes Day. Let's take a look at the last 3 editions of the race.
And to a mighty roar from the crowd, they're racing. He's got his finger on the trigger at the 400 mark. He quickly moved a length and a half. Now the sparks are flying. He makes it 2 Perth Cups. It's history at Ascot. Stablemate's gone up in front of him, King's Troop, and Volkov coming with her run. Candlelight Star is next. Look at Volkov coming down the outside. She ranged up at the 150 and hit the front. She dropped them off. She led a length and a half to King's Troop, and now Durandell. He's coming late. Volkov shaken up though, close to home. Too good. And it's Volkov home in the Miss Andretti from Durandell. Kai Perinya at the 250 and he went to work. Kai Perinya led 2 lengths. Here comes Dainty Test down the outside at the 150. Kai Perinya's the leader. Dainty Test, she's making a massive effort to run her down, but she won't. And Kai Perinya's too good. Kai Perinya scored by a long deck to Dainty Test. It's a photo.
And then G-Boss just off them, just at Natural to the outside. The Celt held up first among equals, then Prophet Street. Misty Metal has raced up and taken the lead, drawn clear and exploded away from them. From Belder, the Celt, Prophet Street, but it's all Misty Metal, and she's done it again. Misty Metal raced home to win by 2 1/4. Belder second.
Misty Metal winning last year's edition of the Miss Andretti. Looking forward to this week's edition, and there's plenty happening off the track as well, Mark. Family Day here at Perth Racing.
Yeah, we have a family day every month. This is January's, and we're going to have a mechanical horse on track thanks to Rawa's Careers in Racing's people. Oh, geez. I'm about a 75 kilo claimer if I get on that, so I'm 82 kilos at the moment, so it's not a big enough claim for me to get on a horse, frankly.
Well, I think you need to just start going on the jockey diet between now and then, and I expect to see you on that mechanical horse on Saturday for the amusement of all around.
I would like to see Scott Embry on it, and I'd also like to see Wes Cameron, so that's a call out to Wes. Wes, come to the races on Saturday, I'd love to see you on the horse.
All right, I'd love to see a few of these people on the horse, and you can catch all that at the races on Saturday, so make sure you come by. If we don't see you there, we'll see you on next week's edition of The Run of the Race.
He makes her bid for a little piece of history.